I try really hard to copy what Mother Nature has created. Mother Nature is just astounding.
Chester Fields has an eye for eagles. For 25 years, this wildlife artist from Spokane has been sculpting this beloved bird of prey. With names like Liftoff, Attack, and Splashdown, these bronze masterworks capture the strength and spirit of the iconic bald eagle. His flight path to success began as a child, growing up on an Oregon cattle ranch.
My first awareness with the eagles was on the ranch in Oregon when my dad would be plowing and the mice would run out and the eagles would come down and scoop them up, and I was really intrigued as a child watching that. I started drawing when I was 5 years old, butterflies and birds and stuff, and so I always had a love for wildlife and Mother Nature.
After receiving formal fine art training, Fields served 2 years in the military as a draftsman stationed in Germany. His tour in Europe would leave an indelible mark on his youthful canvas.
The military actually afforded me to travel a lot to Europe, and I was able to go to a lot of the major museums. And so that really was a major asset to me as an artist to view all the great masters, in person. And so it really had a major impact on my life.
Before Chester Fields became a top-selling sculptor, he was an admired painter with fine artworks that equaled his bronze sculptures with their realism and painstaking attention to detail.
For about 10 years I was doing Indian paintings and mountain men and a lot of birds and animals. And I got fairly well known, and then I was invited to the Cowboy Hall of Fame with 30 top wildlife artists in the world in 1985, and I showed there, and I was very impressed with what was going on with the painters, but I also saw and I was aware of the weakness in sculpting. And so I thought when I came home I'd like to take really a stab at doing a major sculpture of an eagle. When I did my first one, I realized that you had to put a lot of time into it, so I actually spent 8 months doing my first one. And I was very fortunate because after I came out with it, the C.M. Russell Show in Great Falls, Montana awarded me first place. And that was really the beginning of my sculpting career. So I laid my paintbrushes down and really focused on the eagles.
Fields' bronze sculptures are sold to corporate and private collectors and displayed in homes and businesses around the globe.
My main focus has been on eagles because they're loved not only across America, but to my amazement, worldwide. I ended up selling over 750 eagles to over 20 nations in the last 25 years.
Producing a bronze sculpture is a multi-stage process that takes months to complete. The ancient techniques first used to make bronzes centuries ago are still being practiced today. A bronze foundry is where the transformation from model to masterpiece takes place. Highly skilled foundry artisans work closely with the sculptor to meet exact specifications. The result is a stunning piece of sculpture in brilliant bronze.
A lot of times when you do a sculpture, you have to relate to both parties, the male and the female. If I did the eagle catching a rabbit, it would be kind of a hard sell to a lady, but you kind of get away with a fish. I really enjoy doing wildlife art because I think it's really important that we try to preserve it and let people be aware of how important it is that we pay attention to endangered species, because if they're gone, it's not long before man is going to be gone. We have to be aware of that.
Although the eagle has been Chester Fields' primary muse, he has also created spectacular sculptures of owls, swans, falcons, and most recently, a colossal-sized cougar.
This cougar project was commissioned to me by Washington State University, and it was with great pride I got to work with my son on this project. And it's in front of the football stadium down there, and it's 14 feet high and it's 14 feet long, and it took us a year to complete it. In my whole art career, I think I had the most fun working on this because I was working with my son, and this really was a special project.
Working with my dad, we were able to bounce back and forth and be critical of what each one was doing and seeing in the piece, so that together we actually created a better work of art than if we were independently doing it ourselves.
It's very satisfying with me to work with my son because just the joy to experience teaching what I know with him, and then I'm able to pass all of my knowledge on to my son that I've learned and experienced as an artist.
I do hope to follow in my dad's footsteps because he's lived a great life, and the ability to create on a daily basis, I think, is what everyone wants in a career. I think specifically for my talents that art is the greatest means for that to happen. What I admire most about my dad is his ability to observe and accurately execute what he sees, and he really has a passion for wildlife, and that passion expresses itself through his work. He's kind of set his standards with the old classical masters, and he puts himself in a field of his own.
Chester Fields has spent a lifetime perfecting his precise sculpting techniques in a passionate pursuit of preserving the wildlife he loves. Today, that passion still soars high as his majestic bronze eagles take flight, inspiring generations to come.
The greatest joy in my life is the fact that I love to be an artist, and to be able to make a living at being an artist and doing something that you really like to do. I think that's really a great privilege. And then it's a great honor when your audience is receptive of what you're doing. When you do something in bronze, you're leaving something behind for humanity for a long time. We come and go, but it's our accomplishments in our lifetime. I think that's important, to leave something behind for mankind that's a positive impression for society.
If you have an idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.